So we had some Dave Roberts and Mookie Betts talk in recent days. Really, the last 2 days. Dave talked about Mookie today. Mookie talked about Mookie yesterday. I want to focus on the Dave side because Dave, all of a sudden, has me feeling a little hype. Has me feeling a little bit better about Mookie Betts, the shortstop. Has me feeling like maybe you felt when you were the first person to really be all the way in on Mookie Betts needs to be the starting shortstop for this Dodgers team. And as we've said a few times, listen, if it works out, the Dodgers look like geniuses. He would immediately become one of the best players in baseball if you could throw that bat at shortstop. But there's still that if it works out. But, Dave, early in camp, giving him ringing endorsements, things you'd like to hear. Let's go ahead and listen to Dave first, and then we'll kind of digest it and go from there. But here's Dave talking about Mookie Betts at shortstop.
Mookie being the shortstop sort of was a longer-term conversation, obviously dating back to a calendar year ago where he kind of found his way, a little bit less than that, at shortstop. He certainly felt he had unfinished business, and he popped out to right field because it was the right decision at that time, given our roster. But I do feel that, I know that he wanted to really give himself the best chance to be a top performer at short.
What's going to let you know, like, when you're watching him out there, that his comfort level is rising and that he's cleaned up some of the things he did struggle with, early last year when he was making the switch?
It's 2 grades better already. Action-wise, confidence-wise, there's some uncertainty, rightfully so, last year, where just the confidence is extremely high right now. And also, I think Mookie wants to be the best player in baseball, and I don't see why he wouldn't want that. And so I think if you play shortstop with his bat, that gives him a better chance.
That last part there, those last 2 parts, he wants to be the best player in baseball. At this point in his career, we know Mookie needs something to kind of get him going, something to start his engine and rev his engine for games. He wants to be doing other things. And playing shortstop, my God, is that doing other things for him? But what do you think there of Dave, and does that make you feel, does it vindicate you against me in my literally laughing in your face for a few months about Mookie as the shortstop?
No, I mean, this was something that it's use a Davism. We like the compete. We like how gritty he is.
Guys, drop your Davisms. Drop your Davisms in the chat.
We like it because everything he tries, he gives his 100% effort. And I think for me, when you see him go out and win like a Clayton Kershaw ping pong tournament, just because he can, that just shows how competitive he is and how much he wants to win pretty much everything he does. So, yeah, I think if he's got a full offseason, like I've been saying, this would be the logical outcome. What he needs to fix on the throwing, which that was the obvious flaw in his game at the position. But if he can do that and be a competent shortstop, I'll be honest, he's probably one of 2 guys that could maybe compete with Shohei for NL MVP next year if Shohei throws a decent amount of innings. Mm-hmm. Like Mookie's bat is top 5 in baseball. You pair that with being one of the best shortstops, or just being not even one of the best, just being an average shortstop with his bat, with the way he impacts the game, being one of the clutcher players in baseball, doesn't strike out a lot. He can hit 30, 35 home runs if he needs to. Like, you put it all together, he's an MVP player, and that's, usurping a unicorn. We keep calling Shohei that, but it's true. And I don't expect necessarily it to be smooth from the get-go. It might take him a little bit to, find his way. You can't, mimic game action. It's not possible. That series in Japan is going to look a little different to Mookie than any spring training game. So it might take him a minute, but I expect him to get there. I truly do, because there's nothing he's tried in his life that he's really like at least obviously failed at.
Yeah, and as Dave said, he was kind of thrust into that situation. We've talked about it. He was thrust into that situation last year when it was, apparent that Gavin Lux wouldn't be able to handle the job. So you plug him in there. He didn't get those arm angles. Shortstop arm angles are completely different than right field. Then they're definitely completely different than what he had been working on that entire offseason leading up to last year at second base. So, and what I love, the clip I showed there of him working with Chris Woodward, and that's somebody we talked about, I think earlier this week or last week, whatever it was. One of the things I really do like about Chris Woodward coming back to this organization and being the infield coach again is that was somebody that Justin Turner gave a butt ton of credit to for helping him on his throws, helping him become somebody who became a Gold Glove caliber and a Gold Glove finalist as a third baseman. So to get Mookie working there with Woody and giving him a full off season to work on his craft and get better, I feel better. I feel a lot better about it. I do want to tell you guys about Underdog Fantasy friends here at the channel. It is the easiest place to play all of your fantasy sports, and it's now proudly helping support us here at the All Dodgers podcast. And if you, like me, like to make some picks on fantasy sports, have a little bit of fun while watching the game, Underdog Fantasy offers a unique approach to fantasy sports with a simple pick'em style format, so it's easy for all idiots of all shapes and sizes and creeds. I will say I'm looking forward to playing this game once baseball is really here. We talked about it on Monday. I think we might find a way to make a Discord group project where we pick our MLB full regular season picks and have some fun with that. But either way, we'll talk about that later. I want to tell you how it works. You pick higher or lower on between 2 and 8 players, and you can win up to 325 times your entry. That says 100x is 325x if you use our promo code All Dodgers. Click the link in the description. It automatically puts the link in for you. If you click it, it really helps out the channel as well, because Underdog Fantasy only sticks around and helps us out if you guys are clicking on these links, of course. New users do get a free pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash, which is just as good as money. They'll match it. I think it's up to like 50% or something like that, whatever it is. But yeah, that's what we could be betting on. What is Shohei, or what we can be picking on, whatever. I don't know. There's certain words I'm not supposed to say, but that's what we can do. We can talk about Shohei. We can talk about Mookie, all that kind of stuff. Sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com today. Download the app or just click the link in the description below, as I said, and use that promo code All Dodgers to get that free pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Thank you for hearing me out, and let's get back into the show. One of the other things Dave said too, Mookie kind of talking about the unfinished business of being pulled away from shortstop last year after the injury and having to come back from that and go straight into the outfield. Getting Mookie with that chip on his shoulder, that's good. It's good for everybody. Yeah. It's good for everybody involved, and great for this team.
Look what he did in the first month of the season when he was focused almost entirely on playing the infield again. He was going off. He was the MVP. Granted, Shohei wasn't pitching, but he was the MVP. So, no, I'm really excited. You bring up a really good point with Woodward coming back. I remember JT talking about not just, that infield, but like the throws, but also the timing, like finding that internal clock. Because guess what? If Mookie can slow the game down and like really understand an internal clock, that throw is a lot easier. Yeah, you don't have to overthrow it, which is what he's done. He sails the ball because he's rushing it. But if Woodward can instill in him, hey, you don't got to be the fastest guy there. You just got to beat the runner by a step. If he can find a way to articulate that to Mookie and get him to like work that into his everyday repetition, he'll be fine. It'll be great. I mean, God, Woodward made Seager a good shortstop, and we know Seager's a good
I didn't want to interrupt, but that's what I was thinking, because I could just think of how easy, very mechanical and very easy JT was with his throws, but also the same thing with Corey Seager, who was a taller shortstop, is not blessed with range necessarily, doesn't have the greatest arm in the world for sure, still very good. It's not Mason Wynn, but still very, very good shortstop arm. You know, you can think of how many of those throws that Corey just kind of like babied there, and they got there just when they needed to. You don't need to beat the runner. You don't need to be Mason Wynn that Justin Turner talks shit about, saying you don't. Where I got kids out here throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastball to first base, and I think that helps him a lot. The offseason, working with Woody, and the understanding of, yeah, this is my spot. And it kind of is his spot to lose. I love what Pinsanity says. You know, he doesn't care. He just wants to get rings. We know he wants to fill up that hand with 5 rings. And if he's able to become that shortstop, that starting shortstop, out of nowhere, if the Dodgers, 5 years ago traded for their starting shortstop and none of us knew it, they're geniuses. And this was the fight, the battle I had with Greg Bergman a couple weeks ago when you were out. They will be geniuses. If not, you have options to plug right in, and then you can go back to the drawing board.
Man, and then John Henry needs to sell the Red Sox then.
Tell me, they got Bregman for $40 million a year, most of it deferred. Won the offseason, baby.
No, they're winning the offseason. Dodgers are winning baseball. Yeah, if Mookie turns himself into a good shortstop, man, Red Sox fans just have it the worst. Oh my God. It just immediately turns into the worst trade in baseball history.